Okay, gonna stream some live game dev here. Just sorting out some stuff with the stream. Okay, gonna stream some live game dev here. Little super high latency echo there. Alright, let's get some music going. Okay, let's get started. So what I'm doing is working on our HUD, trying to kind of figure out, oh, fantastic. How to display wins and losses that kind of works for different game types. Also got to deal with having a way to show ammunition. And I'm feeling like I'm going to get rid of this. And just make it need to indicate the player color. Need to show their current health, their ammunition, which player they are. And their wins and losses, and I think that's it. So I'm just kind of mocking this up. It's not gonna work. Oh, sometimes I really hate doing UI. Most of the time I really hate doing UI. So much space taken up. Gotta make this HUD as small as possible. Really? I did not tell you to do that. That's garbage. But I do like the idea of taking up more horizontal space and less vertical space. That's going to be less in the way. Wait, lives left. What the heck? What just happened? Sheesh. Okay, I need that fin because that shows the player what color they are. So let's just move the stuff up here, or this is the way the old HUD was, and we're going to want to keep this part because we really need that color information. In fact, I could just work with this. I hate that, and then pull that out of there. I could use these bigger icons for... Okay, we should never have triple-digit wins and losses. That would be like the longest game in the world. So these icons take up... So let's see if I can create a small version of these wins, cup, and losses thing. We got a little bit more space in that. Well, let's see how this looks. So I can create a tiny, tiny broken heart. And not know if that's obvious what that is at all. Maybe it is. Okay, is there anything else I need to represent in the HUD? Grr. think I'm going to take away I'll leave it. I've already done all the work to animate some of that stuff, so so we need a version of this bar that does not have the secondary splitter in it. UI is like the thing I am the slowest at. Like when I'm doing sprites and stuff for actual game content, it's about 1,000 times faster. I just hate designing HUDs. Okay, so we got health container, stats container. I'm gonna break so much stuff. What do we got here? Okay, let's make a new container. I'm gonna rename this to XP container because that's what it was before. Call this stats container. Oops. Okay, so stats container. I gotta figure out what I'm looking at here. So let's give this no X. Let's give this a Y of. Okay, that's a good place to start. Let's bring us right in here, and this is gonna be ammo bar background. Go here. Bar container. Health fill sprite. Okay. I love how in Windows they make the little like bars, like the edges of windows, like if you're trying to grab like the edge of the window or this like bar, they make it like 1 pixel. That's so useful on a modern 4K display to have a 1 pixel hitbox. So good. I love it. And I'm being ultra sarcastic right now. Freaking hate it. Okay, here's our ammo bar. I want this to be an X, and we want it to be top Y, and that's the top of our frame. Oh, I need the background. What do we got here? 9 slice instance. This is not what I want to do here. I'm basically going to have to totally rebuild this HUD. So the first thing we need is a... Oh my gosh, this is pissing me off. Add component. You'll understand why I'm doing this in a second. So actually, let's do this. Let's do that. We'll go to default forms and okay, but we want this to, instead of using that as the 9 slice, use this. 48 by 48 is what this should be. Okay, you can see it's properly stretching there. And then, for instance, is fine. We want oops. Add a category here. And I always forget which color each player is. It should be aligned with the sprite sheet. I don't know if the previous guy who was working on this actually built it that way, so I need to look at the player and see. Okay, it's called player number, so blue, orange, purple, green. Does that align with the sprite sheet? We are about to find out. Blue, orange, purple, green. Perfect. Okay, and this is called player number. Just make it the same. And player 1 is blue, that's correct. Player 2 is going to be orange. Player 3 is going to be purple. Player 4 is going to be green. This tool is amazing, but UI work is still mind-numbing to me. Like, it's just so much just gritty copying of stuff. Okay, or like doing the same thing 6 times. Okay. Okay, so now that I have this in the player HUD, we also have a player number, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Be nice if the person who previously worked on this was consistent. I'm like super nitpicky about consistency. It drives me freaking nuts when stuff is not consistent, because it just always causes you problems later. Okay, so now I need that player, that HUD 9 slice needs to be in this stats container. and we want it to be the same size as the stats container. So, oops. Is that all the biggest stats container is? No, it's not. Do what I told you to. I didn't finish this. So, okay, 9 slice. It's fine if this has a fixed width, but this needs to fill it. I don't know why I keep clicking on behaviors. Okay. If we go back to here, yep, okay, cool. So this 9 slice is filling this container, which is exactly what I want. Now I need it to be behind stuff, and then basically this is going to be here. I'll crudely lay these out and then get the positions. Okay. Jeez. Beep at me. I had to copy and paste twice. Actually, we can just do this. Center that. Oh. Okay, that now we know that's centered. And then we can just, there we go. So now we got our ammo bar. Instead of calling this background, I'm just going to call it ammo bar and put the fill inside of it. What is going on? Oh my gosh. This kind of stuff drives me freaking nuts. Okay, we're gonna try, I'm gonna join our the Flat Red Ball engine, which our game is based on, Discord, and live chat with my buddy who's working on this with me. Never tried this while live streaming, so we will see how it goes. Check, check, can you hear me?
Hey.
Whoa, very loud. I'm gonna just turn you down a little bit. Talk real quick.
Okay. Testing, testing.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. Well, I am, what the heck is this? Oh my gosh, dude, I don't know what Gum is doing right now, but I feel like I probably like completely broke something. Like there's this random component on my screen. Stuff just started freaking out and like, what's that?
Pause everything and let's figure it out, because maybe you've caught
I
lightning in a
can't
bottle.
repro do it. What's that?
Maybe you've caught something valuable. What's going on?
Well, it looks like I ripped something out of test component. Like basically the left, this thing started collapsing and expanding like crazy. It's done it twice now and I have no idea what's causing it. Like I don't know what action is triggering it, but then I swear like stuff from test component, I don't even know what this is. I think when it's collapsing, I know what I'm doing. I'm accidentally grabbing test component and dragging it in here when it's collapsing because this starts like freaking out. So I'm going to delete that back out of here. Okay, and then that's gone. So that's what happened. Why it's happening, I don't know, but it is should be like recorded on this live stream, so we can go back and look at it to like analyze if we can figure it out. But for now, I want to keep making progress because I feel like I'm in the mud right now. Like UI stuff, just it's like the slowest thing for me, so I want to keep going.
Okay, cool. Well, I will pull because I don't know how behind I am.
So here's what I was thinking you could work on if you're running out of stuff. We talked about having um, a capture the flag game mode, and several of the game modes we've talked about would require teams. And so far, we've had no concept of teams. And well, I want to get HUD to an unbroken state tonight. I was going to say I could pause and add a flag to the tank to be like red team, blue team. But in general, you could start thinking about how we want to implement people on the same team.
Okay.
That's one thing. And that like that's not super high priority because I've got a bunch of stuff to do on this HUD, and then yeah, I don't know what you were already working on, so.
I don't either. I'm gonna have to check my Trello to remember.
Can you are you watching the live stream? I was curious if my like music was live streaming or not, and my desktop it should be, but
I
I've
don't know because I turned you down because I could hear two of you.
oh
So
yeah,
I'm not listening to the live stream. I'm watching the live stream.
makes sense.
Although, yeah, live stream on YouTube has a lot of lag, whereas
Yeah,
it
I don't
doesn't
know how
lag
much of
so
that is
much.
YouTube's fault and how much of it is my fault, but
Well, lag meaning it's lagging behind like 5 seconds or 10 seconds.
I know, but I don't know if that's my like local transcoding and internet speed or if that's like YouTube's fault, you know.
Well, it's got to be YouTube because when you stream on Discord, it doesn't lag.
That's true, and that is transcoding because that transcodes down to 720. I think the way my stuff is configured right now, I am streaming at 1920 even though my monitor is 4K, so any text is probably going to be unreadable. Oh, that sucks. I asked my wife to make coffee and she started, but twice now our coffee pot has like flipped out and just made a giant mess, dude. This sucks. Because she's had to clean it up twice, and I'm the one who asked her to make coffee, so that really sucks. Here, I'll show you. I'll show you a picture of the live stream. Like, it'll probably be lagged out a little bit before you see it, but that really sucks. You'll see it on there. It just made a giant freaking mess all over the place. Okay, what am I
Well, no
doing?
issues.
Dude, I'm struggling tonight. I feel like I'm game deving at the slowest possible pace.
Oh, I see the
So,
picture now.
yeah, right? How much does that suck?
Yeah, that looks like it sucks a lot.
Hey, I'm gonna paste you something in just regular chat real quick, and let me know if these icons communicate like kind of generic wins and losses to you. I just pasted it to you. Like, trophy is a pretty clear wins icon, but like, um, not sure about the broken heart as a losses icon. Like, I did some random Googling and I could not come up with anything better for now. Like, I thought about a sad face or
Loss.
like,
What about a tombstone?
I was trying to avoid death because I could always use a skull. You know what I mean?
Okay, what about
And a skull is a more recognizable icon than a tombstone. I mean, we could just use a skull, but I was trying to get away from like, I mean, I am using a gun right here. I was trying to get away from like, overtly like violent or death type of stuff because you could lose in if we do CTF, you could just lose by, flag
right?
captures and That's a little harder to communicate.
Um, hmm. Hmm. What else might work?
And it's easy to fix later, like if I have a sudden flash of inspiration, so I can use this for now, but I just was trying to come up with something good. I'm sorry about the coffee pot again.
It looks like espresso.
This is?
I filtered it through.
So I'm not going to be sleeping until 1 in the morning?
I gave you less.
What about a wallet under the couch?
Sorry, Vic just gave me the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Oh, whoops, I should have muted for that. I'm trying to come up with an icon for losses that is not like could be generic, like losses in a capture the flag game or losses in, any kind of a game. And the best I've come up with is a little broken heart. Like I have a trophy for like wins. So Vic was like, "What about a wallet under the couch? Like I could represent that with 8 pixels." dumbest idea. By the way, if you come over in here, you're gonna be on a live stream webcam, so fair warning.
How about a tank? A picture of a tank on a milk carton.
Now his idea was a picture of a tank on a milk carton. All right, so I'm gonna mute you. Um, it's like tiny down in this corner. See, you can see you just barely. You're on video. Say
Hey.
say hello to the internet. Like nobody will ever watch this, so it's like Vic and I's video log of the delightful evenings we spent together, or
So
something.
I actually am out of tasks, it looks like.
Cool.
Um, I, I take issue with the interpolation that you used on the logo, though. I don't know if that was a serious effort.
Oh,
Words don't bounce
the
like that.
interpolation. So let me see. You shut your mouth. Well, okay. It coming to a stop, though. Like, actually, they sort of do, if you think about it. Yeah, that's our game name. Shut up, you don't
What I
like
was
it?
thinking of doing, well, first off, it probably should start off the screen, right? Because you know how it just sits there on screen. That's one thing I was thinking of. But the other thing that I think would be neat, and you're gonna
Well,
say no,
real
Rossi,
quick,
is what if
I
it shoots in and the logo flashes white?
no, because because I want to be able to turn off flashing, as we discussed before.
Hmm.
And that's going to be a really hard way to turn off flashing because it will be built into an animation. But regarding the bullet thing, I want to create another state where the bullet is invisible and faded in super quick as it comes in.
Uh-huh.
Regarding the bounce, it's too bouncy, and I messed with some of these interpolation types. It doesn't make sense for a bullet to slow down, right? Because a bullet does actually bounce. If you fire a bullet into like a brick wall or something like stops a bullet short, it's gonna that momentum is gonna go somewhere, right? It's gonna be elastic to some extent.
Well, not like that.
Yeah, so I was trying. I mean, technically, it would be like bounce, and yeah, and it wouldn't bounce back. It would only bounce off. Um, but I don't know. Out of all of the art decisions I've made, that's the one that you take issue with?
Yeah, because I'm not. Because I actually have a good sense of motion. I think I don't have a sense of color. I don't have a sense of spacing. So to me, I'm sensitive to that.
Instant exponential. I mean, remind me what. Well, whatever. I'll just pick one that's not that for now. And
Whatever, we'll play with it. I just
Yeah.
was kind of laughing at that.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting distracted. So I changed it. It's no longer bounce at least, but Christy brought some bacon wrapped scallops and they were so good. And now they're gone and I'm sad.
So let's see, what I probably want to work on. I mean, I can work on little things like, for example, when the player dies, the particle pieces don't collide with the level, and I kind of want them to. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, dude. All the like the tiny explosion stuff, dude. If you make those little particles, I believe it's. Let me look real quick. There's only like
I
two
can.
effects that you'd have to adjust because the everything else blows out those two effects. So they are machinery chunk effect and explosion streamer effect. You could, if you started with the machinery chunk effect and made that have level collision physics, that would be a big like style win. And then the explosion streamer effect, that's the little flaming things that have smoke behind them, and it would be cool if those bounced off too.
Alright, let's see. Those. Oh, I'm in the wrong project, that's why I can't find them.
You should be sad that you can't hear my music, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm listening to my synth tripper playlist, and it's good stuff.
Was there any Trevor something in there?
Actually, let me see. I think there probably is.
If not, I'm not interested.
No, there isn't. There's no Trevor something. But Reborn by Magic Sword is in there, and Deviant by Deadlife is in there.
That's a good.
Now it's Fringe Society by Sammy Matar, and I'm pretty sure you know this song because I think you sent it to me.
Okay, so particles, machine chunk effect, is a fire and forget effect. I have to kind of familiarize myself with how these all work.
Yeah, effects stack, so effects blow out other effects. So like, where's my glue? So like the small explosion effect blows out machinery chunks and streamers. The large explosion effect blows out machinery chunks and streamers. So it's just different amounts and stuff, but it's those are the base effects.
So the machine chunk effect. There's a sprite, okay. Has life seconds, which I guess is inherited. Yeah.
Yep.
Fire. So an effect in general. So is there a list of effects in
A
our
list
game
of
screen?
well, there's a list of fire and forget effect. So everything in fire forget effect extends fire and forget effect. And there's a list of that, and they're all everything stuffed into that list. Does that make
And that's in
sense?
the game screen.
Yeah, should be. And fire and forget effect has a life seconds, and those things automatically self-destruct after life seconds. And if they don't, then we got a memory leak. Just
Yeah, I don't see the game screen owning a list of fire and forget effects. Let's see.
Uh,
I see a list of effect-based lists.
oops. It would be near the bottom probably. Effect-based list. So you know what? Fire and Forget effect may itself
It
extend
does.
effect-based. So yeah, so there might be one list for every type of effect.
But we only want some of them to collide with levels, so we have to flag those as such.
Yeah, you can make more sub-lists if you want. I think Glue honestly just did that and I didn't bother to change it because it worked.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. There's reasons why you would want that actually, so it's a good thing that did it, but I'm thinking if I want another list or if I just want. Hmm. Yeah, I guess it's probably better to make another list.
So here's some gum feedback. When I delete stuff, it uncollapses my whatever tree I'm looking at when I delete something.
Yeah, I should fix that. I've noticed that too.
You want me to card it? And when I copy paste, it
Yeah,
does it too.
yeah, please do. Please do.
You want me to card it in this project or in
Yeah, in this project.
Okay.
That will be good.
Ooh, I should change the name of this Trello board from Raster Blaster to Gunskate since we actually have a real name.
Yeah.
I'm actually not going to do that because we haven't talked to Dave or Mark at all about name changes or about anything. I feel really bad. I keep being like, oh, I need to like let them know what is going on, and feel like Dave has been working on stuff. He's just quiet for a long time, and then he just drops a bomb track into chat like, yeah, I made this. What do you guys think?
Yeah. All right, bouncing effect. So I'm going to put a variable on effect base, if you're okay with this, just called bounces against collision. I don't know, bounces. What do you want me to call it?
Sorry, say that again.
A variable on the effect base that controls whether it bounces against the level.
Oh,
What
yeah,
should
you
it be
could call it
called?
has physical or has collision or has physics. Or well,
I don't
they
know if I want to
kind
be.
of all have they all kind
Yeah,
of have
they'll have
physics.
physics.
So you could just say has level collision or something.
How about
I don't.
has bounce collision?
Sure.
Okay. So the machine chunk. Oh, I guess I should expose it. And then, so machine chunk, and what was the other one you said?
Explosion streamer.
Explosion streamer, that's right.
No, that's not what I want. Left. Oops.
By the way, do you know that you can do math operations in the text boxes?
No, dude, I was thinking like literally the last session whenever I was last working, Sunday afternoon, I think. Like, man, I'm so sick of like popping up the calculator and like doing, adding binary because I generally try to lay stuff out in like binary numbers because I design a lot of art in binary numbers just out of habit. And I like suck at doing partial math, like what's 64 and 12 and 24? And I'm like, ah, crap,
Yeah.
carry the one. So yeah, I did not know that, and
Yeah, try it out. It's pretty
I
cool.
want
You
that
can
all the
do like,
time.
yeah, do like
Does,
24 times 5.
does it flatten it or does it preserve the
It
like?
flattens it.
Okay, well, I mean, it should. I just was curious. So 64. So we want this at like.
I haven't pushed it very far, but you can do like parentheses and, all kinds of stuff. So,
Well, I guarantee I'll break it. That's what I do.
all right. Well,
Challenge accepted.
if you do, it's not my code, so I don't care.
Oh yeah. Okay. So let me screenshot you the new HUD, and you can. I mean, you'll see it on the stream in a second, but I'll just post it in chat for you. You can let me know what you think. So it's got health, ammo, and then wins and losses. What else? So if we're thinking of like deathmatch, capture the flag, what other things would we maybe want in here?
Well, this is for the HUD.
I like seeing what the current like score is,
Yeah, but that's not wins and losses, right? That's deaths and kills.
It depends on the game type. So it could be flag captures, flag losses, it could be kills and deaths, it could be, baskets made and baskets lost.
But it's but it's not the number of games the last 5 games have been won by you, right? That's not what you mean.
Correct. Yeah, no. It's just this session. Like
Okay.
whatever a win is in the current game type and whatever a loss is in the current game type.
Is, yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's basically points earned and points lost.
Okay. That's good. I don't know, how is ammo going to work when you're using your primary and there's unlimited ammo?
On your primary, that wouldn't show. It would only show for your that's only your secondary weapon ammo.
So what shows when you're in your primary?
The same thing, because if you pick up ammo with your primary weapon equipped, you want to see that bar go up, even if you're not using that weapon.
Oh. I see.
So now one thing I thought it's good that you brought that up because we could swap out that gun icon with some representation of their secondary weapon projectile, just so it's clear that this is the ammo in your secondary weapon.
What
I
if what if what if the like ignore the artistic aspect of it, but what if it was like when you were in your secondary weapon, there was like a brighter outline that surrounded the gun and the ammo, so that little section to like it's
I mean,
toggled on.
we could change that whole bar color so that like it's grayed out when you're on your like what if we did the opposite? We grayed out the bar when you're on your so like here. What if it was like
Well, I guess
see
that
that?
works too. I just didn't like it as much. In my mind, I didn't like it as much because I'm trying to walk that line between saying, look, the ammo is still important and you're still collecting it. So dimming it maybe makes it feel like it's inactive, which it's not in terms
Yeah.
of collecting ammo. But
I mean, it's the same kind of operation. So like
so that's why I wanted to like emphasize it when you have it equipped rather than de-emphasize it when
yeah,
you don't have it equipped.
that makes sense.
Man, that fart is so bad.
The whole internet needed to know about that. I suppose
That
at
was
least you didn't
bad.
do it into your headset mic.
Yeah, no, I'm not ready for that on my first stream. That's like stream 3 or stream 4, I'll do that.
Okay, so now I need to set the colors correctly for everything too. So here we go. Now stats container. HUD insulate should be player number state 2. Player number state 1, that's correct. 3 should be 4. Player 4, okay. Dude, gum states are amazing. Okay. So HUD is rebuilt. Probably going to break a bunch of stuff. So let me just build the game real quick. Because I changed the name of 2 fields, so that's going to blow up. This coffee is so strong because I think what happens is something clogs up with the filter, and then when it finally does make it into the pot, like most of the coffee went out, but I think it's been soaking in the grounds for a while, so it's basically espresso. Oops, I just built the wrong
Why
project.
are you drinking that at 9:20?
Dude, I'm signing the contract. I'm working until midnight.
You say that, but then you're like, all right, dude, 10:15, I gotta go.
Well, without being, we're on a live stream, but I'm gonna work. I'm not gonna probably work till midnight, but I'm gonna work later tonight. Normally I'd say something really gross right there, but we're gonna keep this kid friendly.
All right. Dude, you know what I really want to fix? I mean, I don't know how often you deal with this, but let me just show you. For me, this is a pain in the butt.
How are you showing me? What am I looking at?
I'm gonna paste you a hangout.
Hmm.
Like, if I don't know the name of what I'm looking for, that sucks.
Do you know what test component is? Can I delete it? Like there's something wrong with it.
I
Oh,
just use it for testing random things. It's not useful for anything, but I use it from time to time just to have it there as a quick,
yeah.
like, oh.
So basically what
So,
you're saying
playground.
is the giant list of objects in the game screen sucks.
Yeah,
And
really bad.
you've talked about creating folders for that for a while.
Yeah, I really want to.
So do it.
It's not. It's not that easy to do.
Because they don't, that doesn't cascade to Visual Studio. You gotta, in Glue only, preserve the relationship between objects in their folder, right?
Well, I mean, first off, what you see there is the order that things are instantiated. And my thought from long ago was I just wanted people to have control over that. Like, if you want to instantiate them a certain list, they're in a certain order, you can do that. And if they're one object depends on another and Glue doesn't understand that, you should be able to control that and fix problems yourself. But actually, what ends up happening, it seems, is I mean, I'm noticing this now. Layers need to come before all other objects. And the objects that are used in the collision relationships need to come before the collision relationship. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't realize that. And so it's actually the opposite. Glue knows better than you do as an average user on the order of things. And so
Other than the visual layer.
yeah, exactly. Other than the visual layer. So I'm kind of starting to think maybe what I should do is under the objects folder have folders for object types. These are all your collisions.
Hold on.
These are all your layers. These are all your others.
Ultimately, the problem is that you need to separate two different concepts that are right now controlled by one thing in Glue. The order of objects in the objects list controls both their rendering order and their initialization order, and it sounds to me like you need to decouple that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that only applies to layers. The order, the rendering order.
No, it doesn't. If I drag a player entity into the objects list in Glue, and I drag another one, I'll have player instance 1 and player instance 2. If player instance 2 comes second, it'll render on top of player instance 1. If I
That's
change that order, it will change the rendering order.
that's unintentional.
That's what I'm saying. You need to decouple that because that's the only reason I would change that as a game dev.
Actually, the only reason
That I can think of. The only reason I've ever changed rendering orders is because, like, oh, the cursor is rendering underneath like this, or like, that's the only time I've ever
well,
messed with order.
see here's the thing. Rendering order is primarily controlled by layers, you know, and then
Hmm.
and then within the same layer it's controlled by Z.
Yep.
Once you have two objects that have the same Z, the order in which they render is arbitrary. It just so happens that in your tests it worked that way. That's not a guarantee that it will work that way.
But it's worked that time every time for like 8 years of game dev.
No,
So what
in
I'm
fact,
saying is, if it doesn't, then you should absolutely take that away from me. I should have no
yeah.
control over object order if it doesn't affect rendering order, because that's the only thing I've ever adjusted those for. If there's a reason they should be instantiated in a certain way, then you should take that control away from me and make Glue smart enough to know that.
Right, that's kind of what I was getting at. Is I think I do need to take away that.
But then
Uh,
I what?
the problem is the whole tree view is a WinForms tree view, which I don't like, and it's
Mm,
the tree view itself has actually not changed in like
since
five
I've been
years.
using probably longer than that. Well, you added icons at some point.
Yeah, that was like the actually I think the most recent change was maybe it was icons. Um, but it's a pain in the butt to change because it's WinForm. So at some point, I just want to replace it with something WPF that's easier to work with.
So
But to
real
do
quick,
that, that's
because
a huge.
I'm like not moving very fast here. So test component runtime is throwing a fit because custom initialization doesn't exist, because a dot generated file doesn't exist, and I don't know why, and I'm kind of sick of this component being in my way. So I either need to make
Um,
it generate something, and I don't know how to do that, or I just need to get rid of this stupid thing.
Let me show you how to solve that problem because it's so easy to solve.
Okay.
Custom component does not have. So in
Well,
your
the actual error is no defining declaration found for implementing
yeah
declaration of partial method, blah, 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 blah.
yeah I know what's going on. So in your Solution Explorer, look at the test component runtime.cs.
Oh, the .generated files there is just not included in Visual Studio for some reason.
Yes, exactly. So if you right click and include,
Yeah.
and then Control Shift S, make sure you Control Shift S, very important. So
Yeah,
when you
so
save your project
or
in Glue
glue
knows.
rebuilt it. But why did that happen?
I don't know.
I think
I don't know.
that was the thing that like was spazzing out when I was trying to. Wow, how many times are we gonna reload here, glue? And there's 3. Are we done?
A weird loop.
Yeah. Okay, did we actually get... Nope, glue took it away. Okay, we're going to close glue because it really doesn't like stuff like this. And now we'll start it up again.
Man, this song is so good.
Which you listening to?
No, Trevor something.
Which song?
Awesome. It's called Selling My Soul. It's so good.
I will be the judge of that. Man, it's not even in his top 10.
Well, it's his brand new album, so.
Oh, there we go. It's the last song on his new album. Dude, glue is like really struggling with this. I think it's glue that is removing it. Yeah, it just keeps removing it, dude. It's like a loop. I closed glue, I added it, I saved my solution, I opened glue, glue removed it.
Do you want to check in the current state and see if I can reproduce it?
Yeah, but you're gonna
And
get
then,
build errors beyond this because I probably broke stuff. I mean,
that's fine.
well, hang on. Let me just there's changes that I did not make to test component. So let me revert that, and that may solve it. Let me I'm gonna check in everything but that.
Oh, we have another problem.
What's that?
Effect base has to implement iCollidable. That's not necessarily a problem, but that does mean that anything that has bounce collision also needs to have a collision
Object.
shape that defines it. So I'm going to add a
Yeah,
circle to
that's okay.
machinery chunk effect.
Hang on though. We're probably gonna collide hard.
Okay, I'll
I'm
stop.
trying to think. So hold for just a second, and then
Okay.
because let me see. Do I?
I'll stop.
Actually, you know what? I have no Glux changes, and my CS proj changes are caused by this problem. So let me. I think you're good. I think you're okay.
I'm still going to wait because I just want to be safe. So I'll wait
Yeah.
until you've
Okay.
checked in.
So worked on HUD redesign. I'm going to commit those. Then I'm going to revert my changes to the CS proj and the let's see. I'm going to revert my changes to the test component. And actually, I'm going to close GUM because it might try to remake them. Glue did not do anything. So I'm going to close glue. I'm just trying to figure out why this happened. Like,
I mean, the real thing that I feel like the real fix is that if that generated file happens to get removed, but you still have it as part of your gum project, you probably should just re-add it for you.
Yeah. It's just
Because
weird,
you're
like,
always going to have a compiler error otherwise.
I know, and I don't know why, like, why would glue be removing this? Doesn't that, like, disturb you a little bit? Let's see if it did it again. Yeah, glue just freaking removed it again, dude. Well, I'm gonna check in my changes, this last change.
Yeah, tell me when to pull.
Dude, we got some crazy weather going on here. Like, it might be hailing again. I
Holy
think
cow,
it's,
there's a lot of effects.
yeah, I know, that was a lot of work. I made them all, so. Although, a lot of those, are like pretty much copy and pastes of each other with like a lot of tweaks to small behavior stuff, which bothers me a little bit, but everything's pushed, by the way.
Come on, Git. What's going on here? Okay. Everything's pushed. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to add a flag to the tanks, and I'm going to add a state to the player where there's player team none, red, or blue. You think that's all we need?
Wait,
And
to the state where in the gum object?
yeah, so we have the player gum object, which is the tank. I'm going to add a flag sprite to the
Like a
tank.
like a flag that waves in the wind, not a boolean.
Yep, correct. Yeah, like a little colored flag that sticks up off the back of the tank. I'll make a red one and a blue one, and I'm going to create a new state called player team state, which will have, or a new category, which will have three states in it. None, which hides the flag, red, which shows the red flag, or blue, which shows the blue flag.
So does
Does that make
that
sense?
having that yeah, but does that having that flag mean you're on this team, or does it
Yes.
mean that you are carrying this flag in capture the flag?
It means that you're on the team. I think the flag for capture the flag, I don't think we'll use an actual flag. It'll probably be something like, I don't know, an energy ball or something. And I feel like
Okay.
it'll kind of interpolate to a spot just above the top of your tank. And then if you get
Okay.
shot, maybe you drop it, or we can figure out that. But I don't think that's going to be part of the gum object. That'll be probably a game entity, which itself might be a gum object, but it won't be part of the tank object. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So let me see here.
All right. Let's see what's going on here.
I gotta listen to the song
So
again because I didn't really like pay very close attention to it.
test runtime.generated.cs. So I think I have the exact opposite thing you do. No, never mind, I don't. Okay, yeah, I have the same behavior as you.
Okay.
Gus, get lost, buddy.
How could you say that to sweet little Gus? Dude, this song has vocals in it.
Yeah, all of his stuff does.
I think that's weirdly what I didn't like about it, which is what you usually don't like about, songs that I'm a fan of that have vocals or whatever.
Yeah, buddy. That's how you get hugs. Good night. No, no, Jack. Jackson. Open. Open.
And this like weirdly reminds me of like Nine Inch Nails or something. Like
I know. I
kind
know.
of like,
His other album. Yeah, and I don't like Nine Inch Nails at all, but
oh
the
really?
other albums have. Yeah, they have a kind of a Nine Inch Nails vibe as well.
I mean, I liked Nine Inch Nails in like the 90s. I haven't listened to Nine Inch Nails much at all since, but
Yes, it reproduced for me, dude.
now fix it.
Yeah, that's crazy. How is that happening? This is not going to be an easy fix. Because I have no idea where it's even being removed.
My ability to break your stuff is why we're best friends.
Dude, this is a tricky one.
Just trying to do my best work here, man. Run your life in the most delightful ways possible.
think I got it. Holy cow, that was easier than I thought.
I'm so disappointed in myself. I will try harder next time.
Yeah. Well, I got it in a breakpoint. Now I got to figure out why it's hitting this code. So not celebrating yet.
Okay, team flag is in on the player objects. And default is set to none, which should have hit it, but it did not.
Oh. Interesting. This is a good find, dude.
Yeah? What's going on?
Well, I'm about to find out.
Okay, let's see here.
Well, it's the gum project that's doing it. It's not glue, so that's kind of good.
I love when the things that I am working on were not Trello tasks.
What do you mean?
Actually,
Oh.
I was being sarcastic. Like, I feel like something did not go right in the process if I do a bunch of work and then I go into Trello and there's no cards to move. It means that like I did not plan well. If that makes sense. Okay, I'm taking myself off of a card I just created called Create Redesigned HUD because that's been done. Oops, I removed you and not me. And now the wiring up is the remaining thing on the checklist. So that is on you now. So I'm making this card implement level hazards with triggers optional because we already have level hazards and I don't have any like exciting design ideas right now on what level hazards are. Like I was kind of thinking we have, hang on just a second, I gotta turn my music down a little bit.
Yeah, like do we want to smash dudes or what?
Yeah, like I think the next actual key thing is to implement ammo. Like, so I need to design, implement ammo drops, power-ups, because we need a way to fill that secondary bar. And that's more critical than level hazards, because I think once we have points on the map that have ammo, those are going to be major points of interest, and that's where triggerable level hazard type of stuff, makes the most sense. Like, you can go in this tight area and grab this ammo power up, but if another player is here and they press this button, the piston's gonna smash you into paste or whatever.
Wait a second, dude.
What's up?
Where is this test component? You didn't delete it, did you?
Well, that's weird. It's gone now, but it wasn't before, dude. I swear it was there in Gum, and I've got screen cap to prove it. I think that's what all that weird. Oh, and there's two things called player HUD. What
Oh,
the heck? See, that was what went weird when Gum flipped out.
Yep. Okay, be very careful here.
I'm gonna just close Gum. You fix it. I'm gonna start working on implementing ammo drops and power ups. Do we want to think of ammo as ammo, or do we want to think of ammo as like energy? I already have a battery icon.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, I can just think about it and decide.
Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, I'm like super worried slash. I knew I at one point knew how to reproduce this bug, and then I don't know if I logged it. Now I'm pissed at myself for not logging it.
Oh. Well, if you're worried about Gum, I mean, we've got commit history, so I'm not worried about the components and work that I did because I can recover it. Yeah, I think I want to make secondary weapons are always powered by a generic resource energy.
Okay, the player HUD thing is fixed. Now I'm gonna try to reproduce it because I think I know how to do it, but I'll figure it out. Yep, I think I just reproduced it. Holy cow.
What's up?
Yeah, this is a very bad bug.
Like bad as in hard to fix, or bad as in like nefarious?
It's caused, I don't know how hard it's going to be to fix, but it's causing serious problems.
Can't be that serious if we've like never ran into it, right?
Oh, dude, it's bad. It's really bad. If I tell
So,
you how to reproduce it, you'll reproduce it in 2 seconds and it will completely demolish your project.
really?
Yeah. Holy cow.
I mean, I must have done it. I just wasn't sure what I did when I did it.
Yeah. Wow.
Hmm.
It's really
So
bad.
I kind of need to start using gum, but I guess I don't have to. I just built
No, you
the
can. I'm
well,
checking and
no,
you
it's
can.
okay. So here's how energy is going to work, or ammo. There's going to be a little platform, and when it is ready to charge a player, it will have a glowing battery icon hovering above it, like a holograph, and it will glow blue. And then when a player runs over it, it will max out their charge meter. It'll max out their ammo, like complete refill. And so there's not partial refills. And it will consume it, and it will not, it'll go back to being orange and not like showing the battery icon and for a period of time until it recharges. And when it's
Okay.
active, it will flicker the battery icon softly, like not a strobing flash, but like a very gentle flicker. Like the battery will probably have some alpha transparency to it. So I've got the art done. I just need to do the animations and states in Gum, and then you can wire it up if that's cool.
Yeah, you can do it. Um, Everything's
We're not going to
checked in,
step
and
on each other with Gum. Oh, you did you say you've checked stuff in?
I've checked everything in, and then at this point, I'm just working on Gum tool itself. Um, I can explain the bug just so you don't do it again while I'm fixing it.
Give me just a second. Um, So, and this pattern actually will work too if we decided to do something like, shields or extra health or health recharge, this could work for that too. Okay, sorry. So repository poll. Okay, how do you make this bug happen?
Basically, what you do, um, I'm pretty sure this is what the bug is. When you there's an undo manager, and the undo manager is just comparing the state of what you had when you started some change with the state of what you had when you ended a change, like a drag or something,
Mm-hmm.
um, or a changing a value in a text box. Well, for some reason, when you click on an object and then click on another object, just going back and forth between two components, it is incrementing the undos that it's storing. And
Dude,
and
that
the
sounds
reason
right. I like something happened. I was like, oh, that's weird. So I hit undo really fast and like started doing stuff. I bet I totally jacked stuff up.
and so what it's actually what it's doing is it doesn't realize you're switching between two components when you're clicking on one and another, and so it actually thinks you've renamed them because it thinks you're on the same one and they have different names. And so then when you
Oh,
undo, it just
you've
whatever one
changed
you're
the names.
on changes it to the previously
Dude,
selected one.
that
So now you
that
have two of them.
totally jives with my, like sometimes you say, "Oh, I think this is what's happening." I'm like, "I didn't do that at all." But I was totally doing exactly that kind of stuff and saw exactly that kind of behavior. So
Yeah.
that my intuition is that is exactly that you have found whatever I did, like that
Yeah.
sounds like what I did. Um,
Yeah. So I just have to figure out why it thinks it needs to record those undos, because once it stops that, everything will be fine. So that's what I'm on.
so our organization of stuff is kind of arbitrary. Like, where's the health thing?
Yeah, it's under
Gum
Game screen,
entities?
I think.
Yeah, it's under gum entities, healing pod. But spawn location warning is under game screen. So there's like, things are kind of arbitrary. I like gum entities, although players are gum entities and they're in their own thing. And enemies are
Yeah.
gum entities and they're on their own thing. So like gum entities is anything that is not a player or an enemy. What?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
true.
that's
It's just
okay. But then spawn location warning is randomly in gum screen, so I feel like at some point we should think about moving that. But I'm going to add any new components that are not players or enemies to the gum entities, which is just generic entities. So I'm going to call this ammo power up. And I may end up changing healing pod to be healing power up, and change its behavior a little bit. But anyway, dude, I'm like a combination of kind of wired on coffee, but my brain is tired. Like I was in that training all day, and I feel like I tried to cram my brain super full. What should we call the state category for whether a power up is like ready to give a bonus to the player or not? Like activated state or um,
I would say the state should be called uh, full or filled.
how about charge state? Like it's
Okay.
charged up. And then that could be charged and discharged, could be the states. Is that intuitive?
Yeah.
There was a long pause before that.
Because I was thinking if there's a better word for it.
um, because some things, yeah, because some things like a healing pod, you might discharge it. Like I like the idea of a power up. In the case of ammo, the behavior is probably just gonna be refill your meter. But you could have a power up like a healing pod in a multiplayer game that you want to heal 5 units of health per second. So the longer you stay on it, the more it charges you up. But while you're doing that, you're also discharging the power up. Um, but then we wouldn't have states. We would probably have a like be affecting the alpha or something. Or yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna call it charge state for now. Or I could call it power up state, and it could be ready or not ready. I don't know. My brain's real slow right now. You have any strong opinions?
No, I don't. I think it'll be clear
Okay.
enough.
I'm gonna
It's not
call
like
it
we have to
charge.
memorize the name.
I'm gonna call it charge state. With gum, are visible and alpha kept as separate concepts? Like if I have a state,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So if I have a state that pulses the battery, but then I have another state that makes the battery invisible, the one state continuing to change alpha values won't affect its visibility.
Right. You can have
Okay,
them be independent.
cool. Cool. Sweet.
Oh, come on now.
Wow, dude, this power-up's looking pretty cool. Oh, come on, you. Let me save my changes. Oh my gosh. Let's try this again. Okay. There we go.
Oh, weird. How did that happen?
Dude, this power-up's looking pretty cool, actually. Oops.
Nice, man. It's good. That's what I like to hear.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
It's just a slowly bouncing and flickering battery. I may end up changing that to be a lightning bolt or something. I don't know. It'll depend on like, yeah. I'll see it in game and then decide. The cool thing is once the animations and everything are done, I can just swap the icon in the sprite sheet and Bob's your uncle, as the Brits say.
What does that mean?
It means like there you go, but like I've heard a lot of different stories as to like where it came from, and they involve some conqueror named Robert who I think was pretty prolific in the baby making arts. Therefore, the Bob's your uncle phrase, but I don't know. Who knows? Colloquialisms. Okay, so we got that done. Let's see where we at here. I'm going to create a card and assign it to you. Implement power up gum object.
Oops, that's not what I want to do. Okay, I think I got it fixed, dude. How do you use gum? Do you build it yourself?
Yeah.
Alright, this is a pretty important one to grab because those undos are... That's a killer bug.
Okay. I just pushed up a
Hold on.
bunch of changes to Raster Blaster. I mean
You won't lock
Gunskate.
this. Nice.
And I added some cards. The implement ammo power up gum object card has pictures and a really explicit checklist of how it should work from a design perspective.
Okay. I mean, I'm not getting into it tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just that's why I made detailed stuff, so if like we forget exactly what we were thinking, it's in the card.
In fact, I may be going to bed.
I kind of wondered. It is 10:30.
Yeah, that was a fun bug, but I solved it, so I feel good about it. I don't know if there's going to be weird side effects, so that's what we'll have to see, because I'm not sure why the code is working the way it was. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, the gum project is checked in, or the gum tool is checked in. So that should solve that, and you should be able to undo. Okay.
Did you
Maybe I'll do one quick thing.
But one thing you didn't do is actually, and this is why I wasn't going to use gum. I hope I didn't screw something up. Because we had 2 copies of the player HUD. Did you fix that?
I fixed that.
Oh, okay. Did I get that fixed for sure?
Yeah, I didn't delete
title
the
component. Okay.
test component. I guess I should do that.
Well, you don't necessarily have to delete it.
Well, it effectively got deleted from the gum project because of the duplicates. So I need to remove it from...
Well, hang on, because I'm trying to get my thing to build so I can see how bad I broke stuff. Did you build the game?
No, I mean, it didn't work. I was going to fix that now if you wanted me to, but I can wait.
Well, go ahead and fix it, and if we collide, I'll overwrite my changes, because we just collide on CS proj of that part of the file.
Well, there's also another problem. Lives left text instance. Oh, that's just because you changed that component, right? I can take that out.
Yes. No, you just change it to wins text, I believe is what I changed the name. So don't take it out. Just anywhere that it says that. That's what I was going to fix, but I couldn't get to building that. And then the other one's like losses text. I just changed the names because I was moving them around.
Yep. And it's actually just the view model binding that needs it. We're binding, did you know that?
I kind of assume that because you're all gung-ho for MVVM, but I haven't actually, and I've seen some model stuff in there, but I haven't like dug into how it works.
Yeah, but it didn't exist just a few weeks ago, months ago.
I've seen, well, and I don't know if I saw models related to GUM. I saw like some of the player model stuff that's related to persisting player status to disk and some of that.
This game is gorgeous. Oh, just shooting the dudes and all the pieces going everywhere is amazing.
Oh, did you get physics working?
No, not yet, but just
okay.
the
I was
physics
gonna say, I haven't
in place
seen that
already.
Yet. Yeah. Glad you like the art.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Tonight felt struggly, like I haven't felt super productive, but UI stuff's hard though, because like, you know, once I've solved the problem, I can do the art fast, but figuring out like, you know, how to cram everything into the HUD, but make it not take up too much screen real estate. that's much harder than just doing sprite work. Like I cranked out this ammo power up component and all its states and everything implemented in GUM really quick compared to how long like I felt like I worked on the HUD.
That's okay, man. The HUD looks good. It takes time to do. I get it.
And then it doesn't take time because of the tooling. It just takes time because of the, brain problems.
Almost got it fixed. I just need to launch glue.
So I also may have just fixed, I'm going to push TMX fix to origin. Oh, never mind, I have unpulled commits. Did you just push fixes?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
cool. Then I can build.
There's still one more potential. Build succeeded. I like to see that.
So my build.
All that. Oh, I don't know. Your build should work.
Okay.
At least it did for me. I just had to run glue to get a generated file. That's all.
Pause my music so we can hear our beautiful game music. Do we need to do for the since we only have one level now, really, at least right now, we need to make music randomly play tracks and never the same 2 tracks in a row. Mm-hmm. And I should actually add that specifically as a card.
All right, well, I am all checked in. I think you're good to go. I can stick around for a second if you want to pull. But I think you'll be in good shape. Man, all that because of that one weird undo bug, huh?
Yeah, so hang on. I did have an issue. Let me pull origin. Your local changes. Okay, that's fine. Discard my local changes. Which is probably going to make both glue and Visual Studio take a dump. I should have closed glue. Nope. No, you don't. Okay. Just a second. Let me go ahead and reload glue and make sure it doesn't do anything like mess anything up. I guess we're not checking in these generated files, so it should not do anything. We'll see. I think my build is working. It would have exploded by now if it wasn't. All right. Oh, our animation does play, but it pauses for a long time before it plays. I didn't even realize you created a starting screen.
Oh, have you not seen it?
No, I haven't. Ooh.
Oh yeah, and that's intentional, that pause, because I just wanted to make sure I saw it when I was testing it out, and I never took it out, so that can be fixed at some point.
I need to fix, I just noticed our hover states on text are bad.
Yeah.
I also see that the flags are showing and they shouldn't be. The default state for the flag should be not to show. Okay. So the HUD, holy crap, it looks terrible. Oh, because you're writing a lot of text into that box, so that'll be an easy fix.
Yeah, I just need to change the view model. I just haven't messed with it yet.
Yeah, that's fine. What was I gonna test? There's something I was gonna. The HUD is working. The colors are working correctly. I was gonna test something else. What the heck have I been building? Oh yeah, stage. Whether they just. No, okay. The player is not appearing on the stage correctly. So the player appears in front of, they appear in front of the stage, right? But shouldn't they be appearing? They should be appearing behind the water and terrain if I made the stage. What I did was I made the stage the collision layer, and then I moved it below the water layer. So, and I renamed what was stage, I renamed to terrain.
Yeah, that should have worked, but I don't want to get sucked into it, so I'm going to
Yeah,
sign off.
that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. I was just making sure I didn't do anything wrong. Like in theory, the player should be showing it behind the water. So I'll make a note that there might be a bug with that. And then I also just realized part of the level I designed is inaccessible, so I'm gonna have to make some modifications to that. Cool, man. Well, good times. Good night, and talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll talk later, dude. See ya.
See ya. All right, we're good there. And we will call it there.